Now, it's only been 36 hours, give or take, since the Thunder won the NBA Finals, but the party is in full swing. The championship parade set out around 10:30 a.m. local time in OKC. You guys can see the vibes. The champagne was flowing. I believe shirts were optional. The whole city came out, long awaited. And of course, everyone had an opportunity to show up and show out. The 24-25 season is in the books, but there's no rest for our senior insider, Shams Charania. Breaking NBA news late into last night. Now, two-time NBA champ Jrue Holiday is headed to Portland. Shams, what more can you tell us about the deal?
Chiney, for the Portland Trailblazers, this is an aggressive swing to build on what was a top 5 transition defense in the second half of this past season. And for the Celtics, this is the start of a very busy offseason. It's about getting out of the second apron and getting breathing room with the cap, given that Tatum could miss a significant part of next season. And so getting significant luxury tax savings has been a focal point. And right now, the Celtics are engaged in trade talks around several key players on their roster. I'm told the Celtics are discussing Kristaps Porzingis trades specifically with several interested teams in both conferences. Anfernee Simons, they just acquired him from Portland as well, along with 2 second-round picks. He could also get interest on the open market. Now, listen, there are 2 big players as well in Jaylen Brown and Derek White. They're going to get serious interest and offers on both of them as well. And the Celtics, I'm told, prefer not to trade Derek White and Jaylen Brown, but depending on how those offers get, could they consider a deal? That's what a lot of team executives are waiting to see.
Very interesting. You said you expect the Celtics to be pretty active. What team should we be paying attention to before tomorrow's draft?
Well, in the lottery, I think Washington and New Orleans I would look at as movers and shakers in this. You have teams like Utah, Philadelphia as well. But there are other teams from a roster perspective. Atlanta has a massive $25.3 million trade player exception. I'm told they're really likely to use that exception to either get a game-changing player or pick up players with salaries and get assets with that as well. And Utah has some role players that could be of interest around the league. John Collins, Colin Sexton, as well as Jordan Clarkson. And John Collins is a big man who you see whenever Kristaps Porzingis gets traded, John Collins could be a guy that moves as well.
By this time tomorrow, we'll be very close to knowing what those teams will be doing. Thank you so much for stopping by, Shams. Team No Sleep over there, we got you. Now that the Blazers have Jrue Holiday in the fold, they add him to a team that was playing some really good hoops down the stretch. The Blazers were 25-25 after January 1 and were 6th in defense during that stretch. And if you think about it, they have a lot of young stars that they're trying to build around. And here's the squad, the brain trust of Brian Windhorst, Bobby Marks, Kendrick Perkins, NBA champion. This is our first show in the new Hudson Studios. It's pretty nice. Bobby told us he had a pork chop, which is nice. Cafeteria is great.
And the temperature in this 100-degree day is perfect in here tonight.
Yes, yeah, the temperature is good. But what is the temperature right now in Boston?
I think that was part one. I think we're going to see a series of moves from the Celtics here. The goal is to get under this second apron to give themselves some flexibility to make some trades. Potentially unfreeze their pick in 2033. Jrue Holiday is number 1. We're going to keep an eye on Kristaps Porzingis, $18 million below that threshold. It's going to be a combination of moves if they're going to want to get under there.
Perk, you're a former Celtic. What did you think of losing a guy that was truly a championship piece in Jrue Holiday, but now you're adding a three-point shooter, which sort of fits the way that this team has been the last few years?
Well, I mean, I look at Jrue Holiday like an exotic car, right? Exotic car rental. You rent him out, you know he's going to come give you the flash, whether you want to pick a Urus or a Lambo, and that means you got a championship. They paid him his money, and now he's going off to his next destination. But I love the pickup of Anfernee Simons. I'll tell you that much, especially with Jason Tatum being out. Anfernee Simons is how old, Bobby? 27?
26.
He's 26, yeah. So he's right in the age group with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and he's a guy that could be a second option to Jaylen Brown because he could put the ball in the basket. We know that. You know, I hear a lot of people criticizing, oh, he was one of the worst defensive players in the league last year. Well, that changes when you get to Boston, right? That culture, because they're going to call you out. It's a lot different playing for the Portland Trail Blazers and playing for the Boston Celtics. When you arrive in City of Champions, you know what I'm saying, it's accountability there. You know what I'm saying? The media going to hold you accountable. We watched Sam Hauser Peyton Pritchard slide those puppies on the perimeter. He's going to pick up their identity. He's going to be a great fit for the Celtics.
Now, outside of those two teams, Boston and the Blazers, what does it say league-wide, this move?
Man, is there an arms race in the Western Conference right now? You look at what's happened in the East, you've got three teams that are dealing with the fallout of Achilles tendon tears, where they're beginning to maybe thinking about taking their teams down a little bit. This is a move in Boston I don't think we see if Jason Tatum is fully healthy. Meanwhile, in the West, the Trailblazers, yeah, they were 25-25, but are they even they're fighting to be a play-in team. Mm-hmm. And they just took on a 35-year-old with $100 million left on his contract while they're for sale. Their team is for sale. They just took on a $100 million contract and paid 2 second-round picks and a quality young player for the luxury of it. So the Western Conference, you look at what Houston's done. You know that the Lakers are going to try to upgrade their roster in the next few days. You know the Clippers are trying to upgrade their roster. You already have quality teams in a bunch of different places, and you got Utah announcing they're not taking anymore. I mean, you got 14, 15 teams who think that they're going to be able to make the playoffs next year, while in the East, there's teams are moving up in the odds just because they're not having injured players.
Yeah.
So it's a credible dichotomy between the East and the West right now.
Love that word, dichotomy. Okay, but Bobby, if you think about this, what does this move mean for the league as well? When you think about the moves, this was the news yesterday, but what are the news that we can expect today?
Well, I think we're going to keep an eye on Kyrie Irving in Dallas just because he's got a $43 million player option. It's exercisable by 11:59 p.m. Eastern tonight, so we're a little bit of in a holding pattern. I think it's important regarding Kyrie because does he opt into that contract? Did they sign him? Does he opt out and sign him to a new contract? Because remember, he's not going to be starting the season. They're going to need to get some type of replacement. By taking a little bit less, that opens up some flexibility to do so. So I have my eyes on Kyrie Irving for the rest of the day.
So I got a question. I'm sitting here with Wendy, Shanae, and Bobby, and I really got a legit question. We're watching a lot of teams have new owners. Like, what's going on? We're watching the Portland Trailblazers, they're for sale. Obviously, Mark Cuban just sold the Dallas Mavericks. Jeannie Buss selling the Los Angeles Lakers, the Boston Celtics, the Charlotte Hornets. What the hell is going on? Nobody, I mean, well, something got to be there, right? What's happening?
Business is good.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, there's a brand there's a brand new $77 billion media rights deal that is about to come into effect that's going to guarantee team revenues for the foreseeable future. Also, the sale of the Celtics and the sale of the Lakers has increased everyone's value in the league. So that makes you think about wanting to sell.
Yeah, basically. Go ahead, Bobby.
And the one thing real quick is that certainly when you own a team, the goal is always just to break even. You're not in the business to make money like year to year. It's when you sell. It's when you sell is when you cash out big time.
Yeah, generationally. Yesterday was the trade news. Tomorrow is the NBA draft. But today, can we keep it real, y'all? Let's go back to the champs because the first ever NBA championship parade is rolling through the streets of OKC today. And the Thunder fans, they were truly out in full force to celebrate. You may recognize these buses. You can see how everyone is so excited. You guys remember the images from Game 7. Regardless, OKC got the job done. And this team has been pretty humble all season. And then Jalen Williams got on the mic. This is wild.
Hey, they said we was too young. They said Oklahoma should have a team. But guess what? We the champ.
And then we've got some news. Wednesday, July 30th, is officially Shai Gilgeous-Alexander Day. The mayor, David Holt, announced SGA, who actually met there. He was there at every game wearing the T-shirts. He has his own day named after him. Isn't that pretty cool, Perk?
It is cool. I mean, look, they deserve every moment. He deserves all the praise. This is the best part of winning the championship. Damn it, I never could get back to the parade. The parade is when you're able to come out of character in front of your boss and do whatever the hell you want. I missed that.
It's the one day of grace
Absolutely.
you get. But I have to ask you, Perk, as someone who has won championships, when do you flip the page? Is it after the parade? Do you think that this team is not yet?
Well, I'm going to say this, and I'm glad we up here and I got Bobby and Wendy here because Sam Presti, right after this parade is over, he got to get to work. But he got some business decisions to make. Usually, when you win a championship, especially with a veteran squad, you bring the entire squad back, right? You try to. That's not the case with this young OKC team.
The Thunder were working yesterday. I heard some draft trade rumors involving the Thunder.
That's what I'm
yesterday.
saying.
I'm not surprised. Sam Presti, SGA, J-Dub, Chet Holmgren, at one point in their lives, they were just young kids with a dream. Still to come on NBA Today, the day before his NBA dream becomes a reality, Cooper Flagg sits down